All right, so this is the Headcore 94 Ti, and it is a brand new ski, although carrying the same name that it had in 2020 plus. This is very, very different. So instead of using that graphene carbon situation that they were using before, this is now a metal ski. There is 2 sheets of metal with a layer of flax in this ski, and it is very impressive to see how much this thing has changed. Whereas before it was like this twitchy, lightweight kind of hybrid ski, great for somebody who's buying their first all mountain ski, maybe in that 90-ish width for the very first time in their life. This is now a staple for people that are looking for an all mountain ski that actually charges. Now, it is a little lighter weight and a little lighter duty than something like an Enforcer or a Blizzard Anomaly. It's a lot easier to ski, doesn't feel nearly as burly, and they still focused a lot on keeping the ski lightweight. So for people looking to run either the new Attack Hybrid binding or a Solomon Shift, this is still definitely an option for you. I definitely think that they did a good job differentiating this from previous versions. A lot of times you'll see, like with the Enforcer, they make these like really minor changes. This is a full revamp of the ski line, and as you get wider in the line, it actually gets less camber, so the ski will feel a little floatier and a little surfier. This being the second widest in the lineup for the men's side, or the unisex skis, it's got a decent amount of camber in it, but not enough that's offensive. I will also mention the graphic because I have gotten more mixed opinions on this graphic than any other graphic that I've seen. It is different for sure. I like it, but I also feel like it's a little bit odd. It does give you a good little window into the ski though, so you can actually see that the metal does not fully extend all the way out to the outside edges of the ski. It's really just through the midsection of the ski to keep that torsional stiffness that you need to have a burly, hard charging all mountain ski, but it doesn't feel like it's super overpowering. That flax layer in between keeps the ski really light, and it also keeps it feeling snappy. Again, the benefit of having metal on a ski is that it makes it feel really damp and hard charging and good at speed. But if you go to a flax or a carbon, you start to feel like it's a little bit twitchier and a little bit more responsive in quick situations. So if you need to make a quick decision, it's really a nice thing to have in your arsenal. Wood core, obviously, so they're making this ski as complete as they possibly can because they want to compete with other top-selling skis like the Nordica Enforcer, like the Anomaly, like a Vocal Kendo series. This sits pretty neatly within that range at the stiffer end of that spectrum. If you're taking an Elan Ripstick for comparison, where it's light and really accessible, this is probably 20 to 30% stiffer than that. I'm also kind of surprised that it is as fun as it is, because usually when you get a ski that gets all this metal added to it, it just becomes too beefy to actually turn. This turns really well. It feels like it's very fluid throughout each turn, and I was impressed with just the overall construction of this thing. I think they did a really good job with it. I'm very curious to see how people enjoy it going forward, but you tell me, what do you think of this graphic? Is this a ski that you're going to consider going forward? Are you sad that the old core is dead and now we have this metal, burlier, hard charging option? Or are we happy to see that we have a ski that we can go full gas on all the time? All right, so this is the Headcore 106 Ti, and similar to the previous models that we're going to talk about today, this is a fun all-mountain but fairly hard charging ski. Now in the 106 width, obviously the priority is skiing really well in softer conditions, so the ski may feel a little softer even though it's a very similar construction to the other models. There is a little bit less camber and a little bit more rocker in the ski, and what that does for you is it allows you to enter your turn really cleanly and not feel like you have this spring feeling right into it, right? Like, because when you're skiing soft snow, I don't know, turning is not your #1 priority. You want to go and have fun and explore and really just feel like you're popping and bopping all over the hill. This is the kind of ski that'll do that. Much, much improved. I thought the old 105 core was the worst ski in the lineup. I actually think the 106 is my favorite of the group. And the reason I say that is because it hits this weird little middle area in that mid 100 to 110 category that not a lot of other skis do. There's probably only 5 or 6 other skis in this width range that I would actually like ski on an everyday basis. And this is one of them because it feels like it's strong enough to get me through on the days when I need to get through a groomer day. But when I take it off into the soft snow, it feels like it has all of the attributes that I'd want in a freeride ski. And that's like a really tough category to hit. Again, I think there's not very many that actually do that well. This is one of them that I've been really, really impressed with, and I'm glad to see that the old core is dead when it comes to this category. Another thing worth mentioning is that they've done away with just doing carbon in the skis. This is a metal ski. So again, much higher gas pedal on this thing. You can go much higher speeds and feel like you're confident and not feel like the old one literally felt like at speed, you were gonna have it blow off your shoe at any given time. Like, it just wasn't the right fit for that kind of ski. It was great if you wanted something lightweight, easy to turn, you were maybe just figuring out how to ski a powder ski for the first time. This is for somebody that knows what they're doing and is looking for the best possible option that they can get for the money. And again, I think that this is a pretty interesting looking ski. I do like that brands are starting to do like collections where the graphic is similar all the way through. I don't know if I think this graphic is going to be a hit, but it does give you a nice little window into the construction of the ski. You can see the rubber in the tip, the wood core through the center. Gives you a little more insight into what you're actually skiing, and maybe makes you a little bit more conscious about what goes into building a ski that you might actually like. And for a lot of people, like, we just talk all this stuff about tech all day long. Nobody really cares. Like, they just want something that's gonna be fun. They wanna have the best possible time on the mountain. But I think this offers a good opportunity for people to explore what's actually on the inside of some of the skis that they like so very much, or some of the skis that they hate so much. So overall, Headcore 106 Ti, I think this would be a great option to add to your quiver if you're looking for something maybe a little bit better for those 5 to 10 inch powder days. This is a great, great choice. And I'm really happy that it's here. Also, real quick, also maintained a really lightweight profile on this ski. And I think that that's hard to do. When you add metal to a ski, it's hard to keep it lightweight. And Head's done a really good job of making something that is accessible, lightweight, fun, agile, all the buzzwords you want to hear when you're buying a ski that's supposed to have you just get out there and have a good time. Headcore 106 Ti.
All right, here we have the Headcore 99 Ti. This is a complete redesign from the previous core, and it's really come back bigger, stronger than ever. It now is a contender more in that more rigid all-mountain ski for women. Stacks up against the Black Pearl, the Santa Ana, in that it's a really beefy ski that does really, really well in all different kinds of terrain and really holds its own. They went away from, you know, the more gentler type design where it was a ski that, while it was fun, it was, you know, forgiving, but it wasn't exactly the strongest and it wasn't the most hard charging ski. And they took that and just stripped it down and built it back up for something that that athletes and people who generally appreciate, you know, a stronger ski, if they're going to have one ski in their quiver, tend to lean towards. They are in that 99 range, so it's pushing a bigger ski, a wider ski, but it skis pretty comfortably and it does have that responsiveness that you would expect out of a lower ski or a lower width ski. When Head redesigned, they did add Titanol, which is a sheet of metal that really adds that density to the ski and maintains that beefier feel. Previously, there was a different material that was a little softer and felt a little bit more delicate, for lack of a better term. They stripped that and really made this a ski that can charge harder again and support speeds. Graphic-wise, if you're anything like me, especially as a lady skier, you tend to be overwhelmed and maybe turned off by the typical women's ski graphic. Head did a really nice job of just stripping all of that down and going for a really simple color profile and color wave that, you know, lets you kind of either blend in or pick your pop in your binding. So if I were to take the ski out, this would be one of those skis where I leave the parking lot at 9 a.m. and it's groomer and cruising, and then by noon it's pretty choppy. Again, the kind of ski that does really, really well in New England resort skiing. So as far as sizing goes, you know, they hit it really on the nose. It's accurate with sizing. You don't need to kind of overanalyze sizing up or sizing down. You measure to a 170, you ski the 170. This is the Headcore 99 Ti. Let us know what you think.
All right, so there are two major ski lines that changed, and we mentioned the Salomon QST at some point in this video. The other one that changed significantly is the Headcore 88 Ti. a massive difference between this and the old rendition of this ski. Now we see metal in the ski, much more torsionally rigid, much more stable at speed, and honestly, a ski I would like to be on much more often. Previously, I felt like the old core was lightweight and kind of shaky, and honestly, it suffered from a lot of the same things that the QST did, where it was like in that weird middle area. It could be a hybrid touring ski, it could be whatever you wanted. It's very beginner and consumer friendly. This one has a gas tank. This thing can go at speed, hold an edge all the way through, and they've done some really neat things to achieve that. There is metal in it again. So like this is now gonna be in that wheelhouse where it's comparing itself to a Nordica Enforcer, a Blizzard Rustler. This is a ski that truly is very unlimited in terms of what you can do with it. Overall, I would say stiffness wise, comparable to those other skis, but maybe still a smidge on the softer side. Pretty wide tip profile, 88 underfoot. So like if you're a New Englander and you want that ski that you can pop into the woods every once in a while, or maybe you just want something to rip groomers that's a little more fun than your standard groomer ski, this is a phenomenal option. And I think Head did a great job with the redesign. It's really hard for a company to go in and redesign their core, no pun intended, their core lineup of skis. This is the best way you could have done it. If you're gonna change something, you better make sure you change it right, especially when it's what's bringing home the bacon on a regular basis. This is a just overall very clean aesthetic look, and I'm really impressed with it. I hope that people actually get a chance to ski this thing and give it a second chance if they tried the previous rendition and weren't a fan. While I think there's a lot of good customers for the prior version of the core, and I think there's people that it really hits the nail on the head for, I think this is a lot more of what that core lineup should have been from the jump, but now we get it in an even better graphic. This, I can't tell you how happy this makes me to not see a huge Head logo down the ski. I think this looks so much cleaner. The line is very consistent across the board. All the men's skis are black, all the women's skis are white. I just think that they did a really nice job of redoing a line that's very challenging to redo. This is the most saturated category. As I've said, there's so many skis in that 88 to 100 underfoot width. How do you stand out in them? You do it by making a really solid ski that can do just about everything. And this is where it starts for them in the 88 Ti. They make this thing in a ton of widths, and we're gonna talk about most of them. It goes from an 88 to a 94 to a 100 to a 106 to a 112 to a 118. If you want a ski that can do just about anything, Head core is something you probably should be considering. Let me know what you think. All right, so piggybacking off some of the things that Elsa had said previously about the women's core series, this is the Core 93 Ti, and it again is a completely redesigned ski. It actually has some metal in it. This is a ski that previously had a really low speed limit, and now we have a very high speed limit. This is one of the most changed skis and one of my picks for most improved in 2025. This is definitely a ski that most people will now enjoy a lot more. Now, we talked about adding metal to it. It is not obscenely stiff, but it does feel and flex a lot more consistently than the previous model did. The graphene version did feel very like chattery and brittle, and it was great for like a 50-50 touring ski, great for someone who was just trying out a technical all mountain ski for the first time. This is much better for those of you that like to charge. We have everything from carbon, metal, wood core, the whole deal. This is a complete all mountain ski for those of you looking for something that can handle whatever terrain shows up on any given day. The 93 Ti in the core lineup is really slick. I like the new graphic update. I think it looks very clean. The entire line looks almost the same. The women's ones being white, the men's ones being black. Very little difference between the two of them at all though. And I think this is a ski that people can rely on to actually hold an edge on those harder conditions a lot more consistently, and just feel like when they're going quite a bit faster through some of that choppier terrain, this thing will actually stay grounded and feel like it's finishing off a turn consistently well. One of the things that I think I like the most about it is it just feels like a much better ski altogether. It did gain some weight. It is a little beefier and it's a little bit heavier, but I think all of that is for a good reason, because all we care about when we talk about skis in this category is that they ski well. And I think Head did a really nice job with this redesign, and I hope to see more of this kind of thing from them going forward, because it's going to cement them in the top ranks of the all mountain skis for 2025 and 2026, and hopefully beyond. Let us know what you think of the new Core 93 Ti. I am a big fan of this redesign right here.